Hi everyone, welcome back to the House of Joseph. Now then, beautiful ones, today is going to be part 3 of my short snappy videos where I'm teaching you guys how to choose the best foundation for your skin type, for your skin tone, etc, etc, etc. So today we're going to be actually trying foundation on my skin. Now my skin's looking a bit ropey at the minute because I'm possibly around 4 or 5 days post peel, and I did 2 peels consecutively. I did salicylic acid one night, followed immediately the next night by a lactic acid face. Well, both really strong, both DIY formulations, and both utterly wreaked havoc on my face. So obviously skin's looking a bit ropey today, so that makes foundation testing quite good, doesn't it? Because it means we've got more to cover, more to perfect, more to hide. So in our first Foundation Bytes, guys, we've established whether we're a cool skin tone, warm skin tone, neutral skin tone, or an olive skin tone, and we've done that via doing our vein test, haven't we? Again, I'll link these videos into the description. So if you haven't seen those yet, do go and watch them, because the vein test really is the simplest, most effective method of establishing your skin's undertone. And once you've done that, everything's pretty simple. Everything just tends to fall in place after that. Then video 2, we looked at skin's range, didn't we? So that's fair, light, medium, deep, or tan. And obviously there are variations between these 4, 5, 4, 5. And 2 better beautiful ones than to use me as an example. Why not? I'm here, aren't I? I'm willing to do it, and this is all for you guys out there. So far, I think we've established that I did my vein test, and I established that my veins were bluey as opposed to green, which means that I'm more of a cool skin tone. So that's a vast majority of foundations removed from our process of elimination, isn't it? Or aren't they? Isn't it? Aren't they? Whatever. And then, of course, we looked at the range or the depth of my skin, didn't we? And I think we worked out that first, my skin's certainly not tanned. It just doesn't look tanned, does it, at all? Very sore, very angry, very raw part of my skin there for me. No more feeling sorry for myself. Okay. And at the same time, I think we also worked out that my skin's certainly not deep, is it? So that leaves us with fair, medium, or light. And I think we can safely say that my skin's not medium either. So it's somewhere between fair and light. And I actually fine-tuned my skin, or eliminated via the process of elimination, the fair. So my skin is light with cool undertones. So that has pinpointed a certain category of foundations which we then need to look for. So we're looking for something which has got cool tones, and we're in the category or range of light foundations. And once you've done that phase, guys, and you've eliminated the vast bulk of foundations, and they're all over there now, so we can discount all of them, can't we? And we're just focusing on light foundations with cool undertones, aren't we? Should we get some of these on my face? Right, why not? And so where really is the best place to try or to test foundations, guys? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's your face, because that's the only place we're going to be wearing the foundation. So do you know what I mean? It makes sense to try it on our faces. Certainly don't try it on the back of your hand, because the colours are totally different. I mean, look at how white my hand looks, or the rubber arm here looks compared to my face. My face has got a very slightly more pink tone to it, slightly darker too, isn't it, than the back of the old rubber arm. Also, don't test on the inside of your wrist. Again, same issue, because it's ultra pale there. The only place we should be swatching foundations is our faces, guys. Okay, now then, what I want you to do, beautiful ones, is when you're in the department store or the shop or wherever, is go to a window. You must do this in natural daylight. Easier said than done. I get all of that, beautiful ones. Although I have said before, take one of those little plastic, those little pots you can get from McDonald's, the little waxy papery ones, which they put sauce in, ketchup and so on. That you can buy them online, or just go to McDonald's and take a couple of them. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Don't get arrested for theft though, guys, please. That's all I need. Do you know what I mean? Take your little white plasticky waxy pot along to the shop with you, and just ask the person, say, look, do you know what I mean? Just say to the person, I'm having a really hard time trying to establish the ideal foundation for my skin, especially if it's going to be a premium one, because you're spending a lot of money, aren't you, on these? A lot of the big companies do actually offer samples, although if it's a cheaper brand, they probably won't offer a sample. So taking a little plasticky waxy pot along with you makes sense, especially if the shop doesn't have natural daylight. And just ask one of the sales staff if you can take a little bit of the foundation, take it to a window or take it outside, and then start swatching. Now we're going to swatch a very specific area of our skin. So start with your nostril and bring it, an imaginary line basically, from your nostril to the nodule of your ear. That's where we're going to start. It doesn't matter if you go a little bit above that or a little bit, because we'll certainly be going below the line. But if you go above it, no great shakes there, beautiful one. So the imaginary line there to there. we're going to start by swatching a line all the way down past our jaw, all the way down onto our neck. So I'm a man, so I have an Adam's apple. So I'd say roughly as a guide to wherever your Adam's apple is, or if you're a lady and you don't have an Adam's apple, just basically halfway down your neck. So we've got a perfect storm, guys. We're in the department store. It's got daylight streaming in, and you know, and everything that I have suggested you try today, we can achieve. So you've done your vein test. We know you've got cool skin tones. Well, I've got cool skin tones. Undertones, get it right, man. I've got cool undertones, and I'm in the category or range of light skin tones, so or light coloured skin. So what I want you to do now, beautiful ones, is to go and select 3, possibly 4 foundations, which we're now going to start swatching onto our skin. So beautiful ones, always bearing in mind that I am in the range light skin tones, aren't I? So, and here I have 4 foundations, and I think that it's probably better that you use 4 as opposed to 3. It's certainly better than 2. So should we start swatching? And what I'll do is I'll do one purposely or a couple on purpose, which are so not my skin tone, just so, do you know what I mean? So it can highlight the effect of the wrong undertones on your skin's undertone, just to highlight how unnatural and how much it stands out. Does that make sense? Hope so. And obviously for my, well, maybe not obviously, but for my Foundation Bytes series of tutorials, I'm actually using the Dream Satin liquid foundation, and I've got loads of these in every single shade virtually. So, and we'll start off by using this one, and this is called Golden Beige. Now, obviously, I've already said, haven't I, that words with foundations with titles of foundations with the words golden in or beige, although beige is misleading. I should be avoiding words with golden, yellows, warm stuff. So we know for a fact that this one's going to be totally the wrong tone for me, but we'll try it anyway for demonstration purposes. Why not? So what I'll do is I'll start, remember the line between your nostril and your ear. So start there, and maybe work in down to my neck, bringing that all the way down. Now I think you can already see that the range or the depth of tone is fine for my skin, isn't it? I might put a little bit more on, just so you can, you know, for demonstration purposes. You can already see, can't you, how yellow this foundation is. You can already tell, can't you, beautiful ones, that the shade, it's very, very slightly too yellow. This is shade 24 Golden Beige, as I've already said. So, but yeah. And this is a really nice foundation. It's a beautiful foundation. It's just the smell of it. It's really heavily perfumed. So if you're intolerant to or sensitive to fragrances like I am, then this probably wouldn't be an option for you. Maybelline, if you're watching, please can you make a fragrance-free version, because this is a beautiful foundation, although it stinks. Foundation number 2, beautiful ones, is called Fair Beige, and this is in shade 02. So, and already we can tell from the title or the name of the foundation, fair, and I've said, haven't I, that fair, light, medium, dark, or deep, or tan. This is going to be really, really, really pale for me. And this is a neutral shade of foundation, so again, it won't blend in with my skin 100%. In fact, it'll probably stand out like a Belisha beacon. But shall I try a swatch of him, and I'll put that next to the Golden Beige. So guys, again, starting there, just bring that down in a very thin line. Can you see how pale this one is? And it does match my neck, although it's very, very, very pale on my skin. So I guess in some respects it's too pale, way too pale, beautiful ones. Option number 3, guys, is called a light porcelain. So we're in the right ballpark now, aren't we? Because I think that fair, we need to rid ourselves of anything with fair in golden and deep mediums and those sort of words, don't we? So I'll try a swatch of light porcelain, and I'll put that right in front of the other one, which I've just popped. So just locate the area and just a very thin line all the way down onto your neck. Can you see the ones behind this one I'm just applying have changed colour very, very slightly? They've gone slightly darker, haven't they? That's because they're oxidising, and that's something I also would like you guys to do out there is, as soon as you've applied the foundation to your face, leave it for 2 to 5 minutes just to oxidise, because foundations will go significantly darker than straight out of the bottle. So you won't be getting a true reading or a true representation of the shade after, if you don't wait for 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes anyway, but... Okay, it's still a little bit too pale, isn't it? And certainly do not go out there and, do you know what I mean? Open up the bottle of foundation, slap it on your face, think, yeah, this colour's perfect for me. This is the one I want. You need to leave it for 2 to 5 minutes, because the colour will change significantly. And after you've given it 2 to 5 minutes, then the colour the foundation turns will be the colour the foundation stays. So then please go and make your decision. Do you know what I mean? And our fourth foundation we're going to swatch today is Fawn. Now, I have had this in the Dream Matte Mousse before when it came out in the early 2000s, and this shade is ideal for my skin tone. Although now it looks a little bit yellowy, doesn't it? So again, we could swatch it and we may even be surprised. So, I mean, the one in the middle's disappeared totally, hasn't it? The golden beige is, the golden beige is standing out like a sore thumb, and the one in front is standing out like a sore thumb too. So the one between those two, that could be a contender. But let's try some Fawn, shall we? And obviously, well, maybe not obviously, again, Fawn is a cool tone foundation, so we're in the right ballpark again, aren't we, beautiful? So there's my swatch of him there, and I'll just put some right there at the front. Now, can you see how that disappears into my skin out of all four of them? I'm just being assailed by a wall of scent at the minute because this foundation is so heavily scented. Now then, we need to give that 2 to 5 minutes. Give it as long as possible. So, do you know what I mean? If you've got more shopping to do, then go and, I don't know, have a cup of tea or something, but give it time anyway, is what I'm trying to say. So beautiful. And so that's all 4 swatches on my face now. Should we talk through them? Why not? So the first one we applied at the back there was golden beige, and come in for a bit of a close-up, shall I? Can you see how it stands out like a sore thumb? It really, really is way too yellow for my skin, isn't it? It's very strongly yellow. Slightly too dark, I would say, too. So that's definitely a no-no, isn't it? So we'll throw golden beige out. Right next to golden beige, guys, we put beige, not beige. We put fair beige, didn't we? So, and I think that you can tell immediately that it's way too pale, isn't it? Again, I've given it the full 5, more like 10 minutes now. We're clocked over that. More like 10 minutes now, possibly even 15 minutes. So, do you know what I mean? The longer you can give the foundation, the better. Although they tend to stop oxidizing after between 5 and 10 minutes. But I think we can tell that the fair beige is, again, way too pale. And it's slightly too neutral for my skin tones because I do have quite a strong pink tone to my skin. So, should we discount? So let's discount fair beige, shall we? So we'll throw him out as well. Why not? The next foundation we put onto my skin was light porcelain, and I think that we're starting to get there now, guys, aren't we? And that's just there. And I think that could possibly be the one, you know, because both fair light porcelain and Fawn are both cool tone foundations. Although the light porcelain tends to be slightly more neutral toned, the Fawn has got very, very strong pink tone to it. I think you can see that there, can't you? Can you see how satiny and glowy this foundation? It's a beautiful foundation. Stop going on about how beautiful the foundation is. We know it's gorgeous. We know it's fabulous. We know it smells horrible. So now, beautiful ones, it's a toss up between light porcelain and Fawn, isn't it? And do bear in mind that in England now it's winter, very cold, I'm frozen, constantly. My heating's on all the time because I'm so cold. Thick socks, dressing gown, the works, beautiful ones. But right, so sorry, got off beaten track then, didn't I? We're down to light porcelain and Fawn, aren't we? But can you see there the Fawn on my neck, just there? I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but it's slightly too dark. So that means that my shade possibly is light porcelain, but you know, there are a few other factors we need to bear in mind. And the reason, beautiful ones, we actually bring foundation all the way from our cheek onto our neck is because the neck will give you a true representation of your skin's undertone. You've got no external factors there influencing the shade, so there's no redness, incidental redness, because skin can sometimes be red on a daily basis, sometimes look normal, can't it? And that can vastly influence the shade of or the tone and undertones and even depth of your skin tone. So by applying the foundation from our cheek onto our neck, we're covering 2 areas basically. One which is quite I'm going to call it a transient area, although that's not the right word. An area which can be influenced by external factors, whereas the neck pretty much stays the same colour constantly, and it gives you a true representation of your skin's tone too. But no, I'm convinced that the Fawn is slightly too. No, you can see there. I don't know if the camera's. I hope the camera does. Just clean the back of my hand. I hope the camera does pick up there. I'll come in for a bit of a close up. No, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, guys, but it's just there, and it's slightly too dark for my skin. So I think that we've now established that light porcelain could be the #1 foundation for us today. Sorry about this, guys. I'm really, really perplexed about this darker shade of Fawn because I've just realised why Fawn suited me before, because I bought it in the summer, which demonstrates perfectly, doesn't it, how the variations, seasonal variations can, not drastically, but they can certainly influence the shade and tone of your depth of tone of skin. So that's why that looks too dark, and that's why 20 odd years ago it suited me. And also skin does change colour with age too, so do bear that in mind too. And all that we need to do now, guys, is to choose between the fawn or the light porcelain. Now I'm choosing my winter foundation here. Sometimes it can be a good idea to have a summer shade and a winter shade. I do that quite, and I don't wear foundation on a daily basis, but I do have so many foundations. But my regular foundation would be light porcelain for winter and fawn for summer. And obviously you can change the shade, can't you, by walloping loads of bronzer over it, which people do, which I think looks hideous. In fact, don't do that, beautiful ones. Just get your foundation shade right and it should all just fall into place after that. Do you know what I mean? Having just said that, guys, you certainly don't have to go out there and buy 2 bottles of foundation, one for winter, one for summer. If you just want the one, then we need to fine tune it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is just to remove those 4 swatches from my face, and then we'll apply our fine-tuned choices. So we'll apply fawn, yep, that's fawn, and we'll apply light porcelain together. So that gives us a little, or I might even put one part on one side of my, no, in fact I'll just stick to, because you can't all do this in a department store, can you? No, I'm being a bit silly there and a bit dramatic as usual, but and I'll put fawn on one side of my cheek and light porcelain on the other. There's one more tip which I'll share with you guys, which is to stand back. Obviously, we're very, very close, aren't we? We're looking at foundations on a close, we're inspecting on a very close level, aren't we? Although if you come back here, gives you a far truer representation of how the foundation will look. And again, do all of this in daylight, beautiful ones, please. So again, guys, let's get a dollop of fawn on the back of our hand. And do take your time when you're doing this. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give you, but certainly don't rush it. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're spending a fair amount of money on foundation. And this time I'll apply the fawn from about the middle, where my eye finishes, all the way down, possibly a little bit more backwards, because we need as much space as possible. I'm just looking at the time because I haven't got much space left on this camera. But and again, same as before, the nodule, and what you're aiming for is the foundation to disappear into the skin, so it's traceless, undetectable basically. And I think that via our process of elimination, we're getting there, aren't we, beautiful ones? And I'll give this 5 minutes to oxidize down. I'll get both of these on my face. So that's, to clean the back of my hand. I'm really anal about makeup being, do you know what I mean? Especially when I'm wearing shirts, because foundation can get everywhere, especially with me because I'm quite clumsy. That's looking quite good, isn't it, as a colour match? But we'll try the light porcelain. Yep, light porcelain, to make sure we've got the right foundation. Let's get a dollop of him on there. I got a new light yesterday, so I've actually got 2 very, very bright lights facing me now, and they're both directly in front of me. Natural daylight here. So again, if you're in that sort of situation, or sitch, as some people call it, do make sure you have a source of natural light somewhere. I mean, obviously it would be best if you could do all of this in natural daylight, although today I've got artificial light directly in front of me and natural daylight coming in from my left, which will appear right to you guys. But shall I get this on my face rather than talking about lighting? I'll do that. Right, so there's and let's just apply that directly in front. Now this one, it does go on really pale, but do bear in mind that it's winter in the UK, as I've said. Bring that all the way down onto the neck, and I think it's going to be fawn. I said that at the start, didn't I, that fawn worked for me in the Dream Matte Mousse. Do they still sell Dream Matte Mousse? Does anyone know? Because I'd like to get my hands on a bottle of that one again, although it's really heavy and cakey. But right, so now we'll give that 3 to 5 minutes just to cook or to oxidize down. I'll go and try and clear some more space on this on my camera, and then we're about to save to continue. Should we do that? Let's do that. So my darling people, what do you think? It's been 5 minutes now, totally 5 minutes, totally. Why is 5 minutes totally? It's been 5 minutes, beautiful ones. So I definitely think that the fawn at the back has just melted into my skin, totally disappeared. It's even disappeared on my neck, whereas the one in front, again, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. It's given it a very, very slightly yellow sort of tone. So we now know that fawn is my shade in the Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid Foundation. And just to make doubly sure, guys, I'll move you back out so that we're simulating the fact that I am now possibly 1 meter to 2 meters away from you. And if it is invisible on my skin, then we're on to a winner. So beautiful ones, this is me now. I'm possibly around 1.5 meters away from the camera, and don't lean in, man. That defeats the whole object of me coming all the way back here, doesn't it? If I'm going to start zooming in on you beautiful ones. It has totally disappeared, hasn't it? Bear in mind, this is a drugstore foundation, beautiful ones, so the range of shades won't be extensive. So, can you see the front one? It's been about 20 minutes now since I put this on, so if it's going to oxidize anymore, it won't. The one in front is way too pale, isn't it? Even for winter me. So I think that fawn is definitely my shade. And my final tip for the day, beautiful ones, this is a good tip actually, is if you're somewhere between two foundations and you're a millionaire, or you're in the drugstore and the foundations cost something like $10, which is possibly around £8 or £9, buy them both. I know that sounds extravagant and possibly a little bit wasteful, but if you buy them both, you can mix them together. And mixing foundations together is a good thing to do because you can really tailor the shade and customize the shade to your skin tone, shade, depth of tone, and all of those things. Do you know what I mean? That we've been speaking about for the past 3 tutorials. And I'm just going to finish up today by applying a layer of the fawn onto my face. So this is the 301 brush which I bought the other day, and what I like to do is just because obviously, I don't know whether you've seen any of my other videos, I always tell you to start off very thin layers. Now this does look pretty yellow when it first goes on, although this is the ideal match for my skin now. Very, very sheer formulation, very, very satiny, very glowing. I just love this foundation. I just wish it didn't smell so offensive. So what I'm doing here is just applying a very, very thin application of the Dream Satin liquid foundation. £10 from Sainsbury's. You can't go wrong really, guys, can you? Now if this foundation was slightly too dark, I could apply some of the light porcelain, do you know what I mean, and make that back of your hand a palette, and then just add ratios of 1 to 2, so 1 of the lighter one to the 2 of the darker one, or vice versa, until you, do you know what I mean, until you start getting to where you need to be with your foundations. But yep, no, this is an amazing foundation. It makes skin look glowing, makes skin look very, very healthy. It's just a smell, but it is just the smell, which is such a crying shame, beautiful ones. So you know what I mean. L'Oreal, Maybelline, if you are watching, which is basically L'Oreal, isn't it? L'Oreal owns Maybelline. If you're watching, please, 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 could you make a fragrance-free version? And certainly don't discontinue this foundation because it's an amazing foundation. But right, let's get that blended into my face. And can you see how sheer this formulation is? Because if it was full of even a medium to full coverage, it would certainly cover my glass marks on my face, although it's certainly dampening them down, isn't it? Right, beautiful ones, that's one layer, one very, very thin layer of the Dream Satin liquid foundation by Maybelline New York, or New York as the American people call it, in shade Fawn. Obviously, if you want more coverage, so I wanted to cover the red areas on my skin, which is quite excoriated by the acid peels I've been doing. Silly me. And then just apply a little bit more onto, and this any foundation which is buildable, then build up layers where you need more coverage. But for today, this will do me. Do you know what I mean? So today we have fine-tuned our choice of foundation from 4 to 1, haven't we? That's it for today, beautiful ones, sadly. So far in our Foundation Bytes, we've worked out how to establish one's undertone. We've also worked out how to establish the range of shades, so light, medium, dark, so on and so on. I won't repeat ad nauseum. And today we've swatched 4 foundations, which we've used via a process of elimination, haven't we? And we've ended up with Fawn being the ideal match for me. My biggest tips as a makeup artist, guys, is to take your time. Just don't rush this. Think of it as a project, so maybe take a day or 2 days, and also always do this in natural daylight. And if you can't do it in natural daylight, ask the people in the shop if you could have a sample, or take one of those little plastic waxy paper, they're not plastic, they're waxy paper, one of those little plastic waxy paper things from McDonald's, and maybe see if they'll give you 3 or 4 foundations. Certainly do this if you're spending a lot of money on foundations, although more premium foundations tend to offer samples. So do you know what I mean? Sampling is a really good thing. All right, guys, if you enjoyed today's video tutorial, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Similarly, consider subscribing and hit the notifications button to all, so you're notified each time I release new videos. All that remains is for me to wish you beautiful ones a gorgeous Wednesday. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all very, very soon. I love you all very, very much.